Welcome back everyone to another episode of my 6-month trip to Thailand to study Muay Thai. I'm so happy to have you join me. In this week's episode, we cover a Friday night at the fight stadium with my class, as well as one of my Sundays, and how I spent my Sundays off since I have, I instead of taking the day off, I actually do a little bit more training to be able to keep up with my classmates. So I hope you guys can enjoy the show. Let's get into it.
It's like, fuck you, crackhead. You've been doing this shit since before you were born. You were doing this shit in the womb. Get the hell out of here.
I mean, I went to the States once and it fucked me for a week. I think the
Alright. Free dog. Anyone want a free dog?
Yeah, you have to call her.
No free dog.
That's like a lot of fun. So unless there's some sort of bacteria that I am allergic to, but it's not Australia, I'm not happy to get.
Yeah, no, she wrote me into it as well. Well, it's mostly, I was talking with other people and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna go. I'm gonna kind of be tired. My flavor. Yo, oh shit, what's up, dude?
So this is the area that you gotta walk through to get to the stadium. If you can look to the left and the right, you can see a bunch of fine ladies calling you over for drinks. Yeah, the Valley of Naughty Naughties. You can smell the chlamydia from here.
This is the land of naughty naughties. The big bads and the no-nos. No. Pop. Come on, Daniel.
So in this fight is one of our classmates, the guy in red, fighting another school's guy in blue, I guess. I'm not friends with the guy fighting, so I really can't say much about how this fight played out. Plus, I'm not really much of a commentator in combat sports, so womp womp. And that's what I love about Muay Thai so much, is that there's such a high degree of sportsmanship whenever it comes to fighting each other. Near the end, you see the two fighters bow to one another, and then they go to the opposite corners and they drink from their opponent's water bottle as a sign of respect and gratitude. And that's something I can really, really appreciate about the sport. Okay, so much like last week's episode, here's another From the Heart video log that I hope y'all can enjoy. This is something that kind of resonated deep within me when I watched it right before doing this recording. So I hope you're not too bored by it, but it does touch on some emotional notes that I was feeling at the time of recording. And if this is something you do feel like doing, it's something that you should probably have a listen to, because I'm sure you would resonate with me a lot. Hope you guys can enjoy.
Okay, so another video diary. I just came back from a walk to 7-Eleven, and I don't know, just coming back here, I was on my way back here, I was just thinking about, like, you know, maybe it's the Catholic in me, or maybe it's because I was brought up Catholic, and there's always been this feeling that you have to pay penance for your sins. You know, I think my biggest egregious sin to my family line just probably has to be, not that I break the law or I'm a criminal or any of that type of shit, but more that I'm kind of just a half-assed piece of shit. You know, I never really was put into any environments that are deadly and forced me to have to become something better. And I don't know, just kind of going through life and feeling this guilt that I could have been better and I could have been more, but since I always aimed for the easy way out of things, that at the end of the day, as cringe as it sounds, the biggest person I let down was myself. And I kind of understand that a lot better now. And I guess that's whether this place comes into perspective, you know? It's like, is this the place where I can come here and pay my penance and feel like I'm making up for all this time where I was just choosing the easy way instead of trying to make myself better, not just for the sake of myself, but for the sake of being better for the community that I'm a part of. And I think this place is good for that. That's kind of why, like, I have as much as, like, my heart aches that I look down on myself because of this, that I have this self-loathing that makes me really feel like, damn, bro, I really could have just been a better person if I would have just pushed myself harder. And it's nice at this place that I can go through that process and push myself and just suffer quietly while I make sense of all these different things just swirling in my head. But I'd say at least here it definitely does make me feel that I'm waking up, and even though I may have been weak at some point in my life, that I'm doing what I can to make myself a stronger and a better person. And hopefully the strength that I build here can carry over into my resolve on how I face life and the type of life that I want to live. And I'm not exactly like a young dude. I'm in my early 30s right now, and I'd be lying if I didn't say that I feel like I just lost that life, you know, because I would have thought that at this point in my life I would have had more things figured out, and I wouldn't be doing something that I feel like I should have done in my early 20s. But hey, in my early 20s I was doing the whole college thing and doing what I thought was what I was supposed to be doing, only to find out that it was for certain people, but for me, I needed a specific type of education, a specific type of rehabilitation, if you will. And I think coming out here and studying combat sports and getting my ass kicked and pushing myself, I think that's something that really does wonders. And I don't feel like I have it all solved, but I definitely feel like I'm going in the right direction, especially when I consider that I'm out here and I'm contemplating this shit, and I'm really trying to understand this, so that way when I come back home I can be better. And that's all that I really hope for. And I guess that's all I have to say. And thanks for stopping by and hearing me out.
Yeah, that's what 3 months of microdosing pulls out of you. But on a serious note, the reason why I've always been wanting to go out to Thailand, and Thailand was coming out here and training was always such a dream, was because I thought that this would, and I know it was the only place that I could logically put myself in a consistent amount of stress and come out the other end of it a better person. And after college, it just kind of felt like there was still a part of me that was just untapped, unrealized, and I knew that I could be better, I can do more. And if I know a lot of people resonate with the idea of being at a certain point in their life and hoping that they would be more along with their development, but I think as long as you as fucking cringy as it sounds, it's, as long as you're putting one foot in front of the other and you're moving forward to making yourself better than you were yesterday, I think that's the ultimate perspective that you're supposed to have, because I don't think anybody really has it completely figured out. I think everyone has it completely figured out, and that it's okay to not be sure, but not to dwell in despair and just live in that and just be like, well, I don't have it figured out, so why even bother? So that's something that I'm happy that I was able to spend my time in Thailand and work through that. And I can happily say that the way I engage with life now is definitely far more intense and more enthusiastic than I did prior to my training. So I maintained that intensity and I kept it going through. It's like, as of recording, it's May right now, and I'm happy to say that the goals that I set myself to do at the beginning of the year, I'm still waking up every day and I'm still maintaining them. There's always room for improvement, for sure. I can always be better, I can always do better, but I do have some degree of solace where I can say, hey, I can improve, I can always do better, but I'm doing better than I was doing last year, and I intend to keep that momentum going. So if there's any reason why one would want to go to Thailand and do this is the penultimate reason. This is why I would recommend going out to Thailand and studying Muay Thai, because it changes who you are for the better, for the most part.
It's Sunday, my day off, and I'm gonna come here to the gym and do a little bit of exercise, that way I can just rest for the day. Oh, we got someone coming. Hey, he's one of the trainers, Chewy. But ooh, that's an interesting sound. But yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit of exercise because I don't think I should run of the exercise I'm doing, jumping on the tire. That shit is fucking, oh, Tiger's here. That shit is fucking up my ankles. And I don't want to do tire shit because I'm just going to be overtraining. So I think I should probably work on just conditioning and beating the shit out of my legs. So that's just what I'm going to do. Just throw some kicks and just fatigue myself for a little bit.
So my goal of training on my Sunday was to work on just completely lower body. I realized that kicking was always such a laborious thing for me to do, and it's such a big part of Muay Thai, so I figured that I might as well just invest that time. By the way, you see that room, that hallway out there to the right? just so you know, I'm gonna explain. It's gonna make more sense why in later videos, but people do live back there. That's a housing option that they have, and I'm gonna discuss housing options later in the video. But just a heads up, if you do intend on doing Sunday training, you cannot strike any bag, because that's gonna wake up the people in the back and that's gonna agitate them. So just keep that in mind. See, in this clip, I start to kick the bag, and then before you know it, one of the teachers comes in and says, yeah, you can't do that shit. No, yep. Oopsie. So I just stuck with swinging my legs up in the air and going in circles. Now my goal though, what was my finish line was when I was covered head to toe in sweat. So as you can tell right now, I'm a bit juicy. Check this out, freshly squeezed. Yum. I'm a bit juicy, but there's a problem. My pockets are still dry, so I still had a few more. I wouldn't say hours, but maybe like 45 minutes of training, and then I'd be done. You can't really see the shirt, but that's my shirt, and I'm gonna wring that bitch out. Check this out. Oh, that sounds good. I'm gonna boost the audio for you guys. But no, I finished. My pockets are soaked, and I'm ready to go home.
I'm gonna go home and rehydrate and work on editing.
But if you're curious, how sweaty do you typically get when you train? I'll give you an idea. Let me show you.
Y'all want to check out something cool? Check out my sweat puddle. Look at that. Look at all this. Hold up. Give it another one. Freshly squeezed. Yeah, you like the
This was back in my room. I was just laying in bed and I noticed this spider and this lizard were having a stare off.
Oh shit. I thought he was gonna eat him.
Yo guys, check it out. My house comes with a roach defense system. I don't know if you can see them. You see those ants? Yeah. Those guys, they took out that little fucker and that little fucker right there. So I'm gonna go buy some coconut juice for my boys. I don't know if you can see them. They're in the corner of that door. Yeah, they're taking care of me. That's kind of wild though, that my roach defense system is just the ants that live in these walls. I have a real deep appreciation for ants now that they protected my house from these two big ass fuckers. Thank you, ants. I love you. So now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm totally not trying to just pad the runtime, but I did capture some drone footage of the area, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what the housing options are, what the local neighborhood is gonna look like, so you have an idea of if you want to stay in one of their housing options, what to expect. So right here in this opening shot, that's the school right there. That big roof, that's the school. There are the tires that I would be hopping on, and to the left of that, I think that's called the banyak or some shit like that. They call it the fighter house. That isn't the cheapest housing option. The cheapest housing option would be down that hallway that I mentioned in the previous clip. And hold up, let me pause the video. And that's some ghetto ass housing. Like, if you're there, you're on a shoestring budget. You don't have AC in your room. You don't have any privacy. It's you sharing a bed in a room with a bunch of other dudes. I don't even want to know what that smells like or how that feels like. Your shower options and your toilet options are the communal toilets, and that's some rough ass stuff. So if you want to go, if that's what you got to do, I don't know, man. Personally, if that was my situation, I would donate plasma for several months before I put myself in there for a week. So to build up the funds for to afford better housing, because that was pretty rough. But right here in this clip, where I'm just flying over the building I'm flying over, that is the second cheapest housing option. So about the rooms in there, they're okay. They're not the worst rooms, but one of the problems about being so close to the school is that you cannot sleep in. The first round of training is at 6 o'clock in the morning. So if for whatever reason you wanted to sleep in that day, you're not going to be able to, because you're at 6 a.m. You're going to be hearing the students striking the pads and the coaches shouting. So you're always going to be obligated to wake up early, even if you don't want to. Now, this other place is, this building is called the JR House. I believe that's what it's called. As you can tell, it comes with a pool, and the pool is moderately, it's not super cold, but it's not like warm, super warm. Just do keep in mind, there has been every now and then a snake will fall into the pool, so just be mindful of that. So rooms. So I think this is probably the most expensive housing option. The problem is, in the rooms, they do not have any windows, and the walls and the ceilings are all painted the same color. So how it's been described, shit looks like a fucking cell. It looks like a prison cell. So while where I was staying at, it may have looked like a crack den, at least it was illuminated. At least you had sunlight. But in these places, you don't have any of that shit. So like I said in the previous videos, decoration makes the vacation. So here is where you have to take that shit to a higher magnitude. But of course, with the benefit of you getting a pool, you also have more likelihood of having social interactions with your classmates. So what's great about, one thing, I don't know if I mentioned it in a previous video, but a great thing about the whole student at Santai experience is that you end up developing friendships with the people you train with. So if you're staying at this house, this is more like the extrovert's house. If you're here, there's always gonna be people on the balcony talking, smoking, chilling. There's always people you're gonna want to hang out with, and you're probably not gonna want to be in your room. So if you want to pay a little bit more, have access to a pool, and to socialize, if you're an extrovert, this is gonna be the housing option for you. Anything else that I'm missing? Oh, and the school is right across the street. So when it's time to train, you literally just cross that tiny road and you're right there. You're right there at school. It takes you less than a minute to get to school. And that's also very important. It's very important to have close proximity to the school, because if you got to take a shit while you're training, you don't want to use their bathroom. You want to use the bathroom that you're comfortable with. The toilet that your cheeks are accustomed to. Because when you got to shit in the toilet that's in the back of Santai, good luck. But every time I walk in there, bro, I can sense the ringworm in the air. It's fucking gnarly as hell. And no, respect, whatever, bro. That my butt cheeks ain't touching that lid. So if that's some shit that you're cool with, more power to you. But for me, even though I'm kind of an ogre, I like to defecate in a comfortable environment. So whenever I had to take a shit, I was just running back home real quick. And speaking of home, now I'm gonna show you where I lived. This area, that building right there that I'm zooming in, that's where I stayed. That area is called Pren Prapa. Now, in that room, benefits, not the most expensive, probably the biggest rooms. If you're staying, let me pause it. If you're staying on the second floor, you're gonna have access to the sunsets, which is a good thing if you like sunsets, but a bad thing if you're ordering your food, which 9 times out of 10 you're gonna be ordering your food. So having to go up and down stairs every time you have to get food is gonna be kind of a pain in the ass. I'd recommend getting a room on the bottom floor. The room on the far left, 105, 6, and 7, those are probably the best rooms, because you don't have to climb any stairs and you're away from the main traffic area that people have to walk through. So if you have a room all the way on the far left, that's probably going to be the best bet. And am I missing anything? And the bathrooms they're okay. But the great thing about and also, yes, this is the extroverts housing. Introvert? No, this is the introverts housing. Whoops, yeah, I confused them. This is the introverts housing. So if you don't want to always have people in your business and you kind of want to be doing your own thing, this is the place that I would recommend you stay at. You're in close proximity to the school, so if you got to get to class, you can get there in seconds. If you got to take a shit, you can come back to your room in seconds. It's the way the building is structured, you're not going to have people congregating, and it's going to be a very quiet experience. As long as your room, the people that are staying in the areas to the sides of your room, they're not loud, you should have a comfortable experience. And then what's great about that is that when you're heading to class, you just go ahead and walk down this road, and that's it. You're at the school. Well, guys, I hope you were able to enjoy this week's episode. If you like what you've seen in this episode, I would appreciate a like, comment, subscribe. I'm uploading every Wednesday, so next Wednesday there's gonna be another episode coming out. So hit that notification bell so that way you can stay updated. But until then, guys, I'll catch you later. Peace.